Why are you charging us rent? My sister laughed. This is the family beach house. I'd inherited it. They'd been vacationing there every summer for free. I said calmly because I pay the taxes. $31,000 a year. Dad scoffed. So what? We're family. I nodded. The next day I listed it on Airbnb. $850 per night. It booked in 4 hours when my sister showed up with her bags in July. Why are you charging us rent? My sister actually laughed when she said it, loud enough that the seagulls lifted off the railing. This is the family beach house. Dean, her kids were already sprinting up the ramp with their boogie boards. My son Max stood beside me on the gravel drive, clutching his little rolling suitcase with the faded airplane stickers. He looked between me and my sister like he'd walked into the middle of a movie. He didn't understand. Dad snorted. Yeah, we're family, we don't pay rent here. I still had the property tax bill open on my phone, $31,284 due this year. My name on the top, my grandmother's name crossed out because I pay the taxes, I said. My voice came out quieter than I meant, so I said it again. I pay the taxes, $31,000 a year. Dad waved a hand. So what? You've got pilot money. Meanwhile, your sister's raising 3 kids on one income. You really want a nickel and dime family over a beach week. There it was in one sentence. Everything they thought I was and everything they thought I owed. My sister grinned and called over her shoulder. You hear that, guys? Your uncle wants to charge us rent to come to Grandma's beach house. Uncle Dean's greedy. One of her boys sing-soned as he ran past Max. They all laughed. Max didn't. He pressed closer to my side, his fingers finding the inside seam of my shorts pocket like he used to do when he was little and nervous. He stared at the ground at his sneakers half buried in sand, ears turning red. I felt my hands start to shake around my phone. I wanted to say a lot of things like, it's not Grandma's beach house anymore. It's mine, or I was the one here when the roof leaked and the insurance lapsed and the pipes burst in February. Or, pilot money doesn't come from magic. It comes from leaving my kid for 4-day trips so you can drink wine on my deck. Instead, I swallowed, nodded once, and said nothing. I watched my son absorb that moment and file it away in whatever quiet place he puts things that hurt. I'm Dean, 39, commercial pilot based out of Charlotte. I fly domestic mostly, red ice to the West Coast. Early mornings to Chicago, the occasional Florida run. I'm married to Mia, who teaches 4th grade, and we have one son, Max. He's 8, soft-spoken, reads chapter books that are way too advanced for him, loves tide pools, builds tiny airports out of Legos. We live in a very normal townhouse 2 hours inland. The beach house is not normal. It sits on a skinny strip of Barrier Island in South Carolina, the kind of place realtors call charming and rate websites call up and coming. My grandparents bought it when it was just a weather-beaten shack with green shutters and a sagging dock. Over the years, they added on another bedroom, a second bathroom, a covered porch. It's not a mansion, but it's oceanfront. 4 bedrooms, wraparound deck, private walk to the sand. It was the backdrop of my entire childhood. When my grandmother died 4 years ago, everyone assumed she'd keep it fair. That's what my dad always said. She'll leave it to all of us. He'd shrug. Family place stays in the family. Except the will didn't say that. It said in very plain language that the house went to me. Only me. Grandma had left letters for everyone. Mine was one paragraph written in shaky blue ink. You were the only one who came when the heat stopped working. You never asked for gas money. You never complained when I called. You'll take care of it, or you'll let it go. Either way, I trust you. I cried over that letter in the front seat of my car for a solid 10 minutes. No one else cried. They were too busy being angry. My sister Laura called me the next day. It should have been split, she said equally. That's what she said she wanted. I reminded her grandma had also said repeatedly, I don't want you renting it out all summer. And she also said she didn't want to be in a nursing home. Laura snapped, look how that turned out. My parents were more subtle at first, little comments. Your grandmother would have wanted everyone to enjoy it. It's a family asset. We'll help you out with the taxes. They never did. Every year since, that beach house has cost me more than it's ever given back. The taxes, the flood insurance, wind insurance, every new special assessment the county dreamed up. When the roof finally failed, that was $18,000. The AC died the next summer, another $7,500. The dock needed new pilings. The stairs to the beach had to be replaced after a storm. You know who was there the day the contractor pointed at the rotted wood and said, yeah, you're not safe on that, me alone. On a day between trips when I should have been at home with my kid. Laura was too busy wrangling the kids. My parents were keeping an eye on things from their condo 3 hours inland, which meant they watched the Weather Channel and called to tell me about storms I'd already flown over. Still, every June they circled the calendar like sharks. Laura's family took the week of July 4th, my parents liked late August. Sometimes my brother, who lives out west, flew in for a long weekend. Cousins borrowed it just for a couple nights. Distant relatives I barely knew somehow ended up with the keys. They called it the family beach house. What they meant was Dean's beach house that he pays for and we use. I was the one who paid the water and power every month, even when no one was there. I was the one who sent the check when the HOA decided the dunes needed emergency restoration. I was the one who spent my days off calling plumbers and cleaners instead of building sandcastles with my kid. And still, somehow Max was always the afterthought. When we came down with them, he didn't get a bedroom. Laura's kids each had their own. They're older, they need space. My parents took the primary. Max got the pull-out couch in the living room, or if we were lucky, the little twin bed in the utility room that smelled like detergent and old paint. His drawings of the house stayed taped to the fridge until the next round of guests decided the surface was better used for grocery lists. His collection of shells got dumped into a decorative bowl for someone's Instagram shot. His name never made it into the framed family rules chalkboard Laura hung in the hall. She wrote out everyone's names in pastel chalk. Grandma, Grandpa, Laura, James, Ethan, Kyle, Lily, no Max, no Dean. When I pointed it out, she laughed. Oh, don't be weird, it's just a sign. I kept telling myself it was fine, it was temporary, Max was little, he wouldn't notice. I was wrong. The rent conversation happened in May. We'd driven down for the weekend to open the place up, get the AC going, bleach the mildew off the deck furniture, air out the mattresses. My parents and Laura decided to help, which in their language meant sit on the porch and supervise while I moved things. I just taped the new tax bill to the fridge so I wouldn't forget to schedule the payment when Laura spotted it. 31 grand, she whistled. Damn, pilot money really can do anything. Max was sitting at the table quietly building a runway out of Jenga blocks. It doesn't do it by itself, I said. I'm gone 12 to 15 nights a month. Dad sniffed. You chose that. You like flying. You were always selfish with your time. There was that word again, selfish. I hadn't planned to say anything. I really hadn't. But standing there sweaty and tired, looking at my dad's beer sweating on the table I bought and the tax bill with my name on it and my son drooping with jet lag because he'd insisted on coming down with me. It all just clicked. I can't keep doing this for free, I said. The conversation stopped. Even the little portable speaker Laura had brought seemed to go quiet. What? She said, I can't keep paying for everything while everyone uses it like it's a free resort. I need help this year. I kept my tone even. If you want a whole week in July, it's going to be $1,500. That barely dents the taxes, but it's something. Laura barked out a laugh. You're serious? Yes. Why are you charging us rent? She demanded louder, already performing. This is the family beach house. Dad leaned back. You. Ungrateful or something. Your grandmother left you this place and now you're trying to squeeze your own family. I opened my mouth, then shut it again. Across the table, Max's hands froze over his pretend runway. We paid for flights last summer, Laura added, like she was laying out evidence in court. Those tickets weren't cheap. I looked straight at her. You used my buddy passes, I said. 4 round-trip tickets for $68 each. You Venmo'd me for airport parking. She rolled her eyes. Same difference. Max quietly slid one of his Jenga planes off the table and into his lap. He was doing that thing where he tried to disappear. I caught his eye. He looked away fast, something tight twisted in my chest. I'm not asking you to cover everything, I said. I'm just done being the only one paying. You're doing fine, Dad snapped back. You just bought a new car. The old one had 210,000 miles on it. Some of us don't get to upgrade whenever we feel like it. Mia would tell you I'm usually calm. Flying does that to you. You can't afford to panic at 35,000 feet when turbulence hits. But right then, my father calling me ungrateful in a house that exists because I kept writing checks, my sister laughing like I was joking. My son sitting there learning that his dad was greedy. I felt the anger tremble through my hands. I still didn't yell, I just nodded once, the way I nod at ATC when they put me in a hold I don't like but have to accept. Okay, I said. Laura smirked like she'd won. Max's jingle block slipped from his lap and hit the floor with a soft clatter. That night back at the townhouse, I tucked him into bed. Are we poor? He asked it suddenly. I blinked. What? No, buddy, why would you think that? Because Aunt Laura said you need money from them now, he said. She said it in the car when Grandma was on the phone. She said, I guess Pilot Dean isn't as rich as he wants us to think. My throat tightened. We're not poor, I said. But I've been paying for a lot of things for a long time, and it isn't fair that other people get to enjoy them and make fun of us at the same time. His eyes shone in the dim light. Is it my fault? Because I broke the screen door last summer, there it was, the thing he'd been carrying all this time. I sat on the edge of his bed. Hey, I said, none of this is your fault, not the door. Not the money, not any of it, do you understand? He nodded, the kind of nod kids give to end a conversation, like okay, Dad, if that helps you sleep. After he drifted off, I sat at the kitchen table with the tax bill and my laptop while the dishwasher hummed and Mia graded spelling tests. Do you really want to charge them? She asked gently. You know how your dad gets. I asked for 1,500, I said. They laughed at me in front of him. I jerked my chin toward Max's room. They told him I'm greedy, she sighed. So what now? Apparently now was the line. The next morning I listed the beach house on Airbnb. It felt strangely simple. I already had photos from the last repaint. I wrote the description like I wasn't emotionally attached at all. 4-bedroom oceanfront cottage, sleeps 10, private beach access, pilot-owned, lovingly maintained. I set the summer rate at $850 a night, not the highest in the area but not charity either. I blocked 1 week in June and 1 in September for us, just us. No grandparents, no cousins, just my small nuclear family. Then I hit publish. The confirmation popped up, your listing is live. 4 hours later my phone buzzed, new booking request, 7 nights. July 3rd to 10th. Estimated payout $5,698. I stared at the number, more than my parents had ever offered to help with anything. A full year of Max's after-school program. Almost a semester at the aviation camp he'd been begging for. I accepted the booking. Then I opened the family group chat and sent one message. Just a heads up, I listed the house on Airbnb for the summer to help cover costs. If you want to stay, you'll need to book through the site like everyone else. I blocked 1 week in June and 1 in September for me, Mia, and Max. Those are the only free weeks. The typing bubbles appeared, disappeared. Laura first, you're joking. Mom, Dean, Dad, are you out of your mind? I put the phone face down and made Max a grilled cheese. We ate on the couch watching a cartoon about talking cars. The phone kept buzzing. I didn't check it until Max was in the bath. We've stayed there for free for years. That house was meant for family, not strangers. Take the listing down. We already told the kids about the 4th. I booked time off and bought swimsuits. You owe us notice. I typed, deleted. Typed again, then I sent this. I'm not your backup bank. I can't keep paying $31,000 a year so everyone else gets a free beach house while my kid gets called greedy by association. The house is mine, the decision is mine, I'm done arguing. That was it, no threats, no ultimatums. I muted the thread. They showed up anyway. Of course they did. It was July 3rd, turnover day. Mia stayed home buried in lesson plans. It was just me and Max in the truck with fresh linens, a new grill brush, and a trunk full of bulk-bought paper goods for the guests. Do we get to stay this time? Max asked. Not this week, I said. The Johnsons are here, but September is ours, just us. He nodded, tracing the airplane stitched into his backpack strap. I saw the minivan before turning onto the street, Laura's, silver and dented, beach chairs strapped to the roof. My parents' sedan right behind it, parked like they owned the place. The Johnsons' rental was already in the driveway, blinds open, kids running inside, oblivious to the storm about to hit. Stick close to me, I told Max. Why? Because I said so. Laura was out of the van before I shut the engine, hands on her hips. What, Dean? She shouted. Max flinched. Hi, Laura, Mom. Dad, there are strangers in our house, Mom hissed. They're guests, I said. They booked through Airbnb. You were bluffing, Laura snapped. You always bluff. One of her boys jumped out. Where's my room? I call the bunk bed. You don't have a room, Max said softly. There's guests here. Laura spun on him. See what you've done? She snapped at me, eyes on my son. Now my kids lose their vacation because you want to play landlord. Something in me snapped fast and loud. Don't talk to him like that. Dad stepped forward, stop being dramatic. Just tell these people there was a mix-up. They can go to a hotel. We're family. The front door opened. Then Mr. Johnson stepped out looking confused and apologetic at the same time. He had on one of those sun hats that screams tourist. Is everything okay? He asked. His little girl peeked out from behind him, clutching a stuffed astronaut. I forced a smile. Hey there, Mr. Johnson, everything's fine. You're good to stay. Don't worry. This is just some family confusion. Laura shot past me like she was going to march straight into the house. I stepped in front of her. Move, she hissed. No, I said. Dad barked a humorless laugh. You're really going to turn your own family away from their own house. He gestured at the porch. We've spent every summer here since before you even had a kid. Long before you started making airline money and acting like you're better than us. From the driveway, Laura's oldest, Ethan, shouted toward Max. Nice going, dude. Because of your dad, we don't get the big room this year. Max looked like someone had punched him. I can share, he stammered. You can have my bunk next time. I don't need. You won't get a next time if your dad keeps this up. Laura cut in. Mr. Johnson cleared his throat. Should we come back? We can go grab lunch in. You're fine, I said again, louder this time. You're staying. I'm sorry about the noise. Laura stared at me like she didn't recognize me. You're choosing them over us, she demanded. I'm choosing my son, I said. Her eyes flicked to Max, then back to me. She didn't get it. She never would. This is insane, Mom said, choked. Family doesn't charge family rent. Your grandmother would be. My grandmother, I said carefully, left this house to me.